Martell Holt just cannot stop talking about Melody Sheree Rogers. It's like no matter how much time passes, no matter what new projects or people enter his life, he always finds a way to bring her name back into the conversation. And this latest situation proves it once again. Recently, Martell went live from a club, surrounded by Ralph Pittman. Yes, Drew Sidora's estranged husband from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and a few of his friends. It was supposed to be a casual night out, just a few guys hanging out, but leave it to Martell to turn it into something messy. The live started off harmless enough, but soon the tone shifted. Martell began doing what he always does, talking about his ex, bringing up Melody's name, and trying to compare his situation to everyone else's. And what came out of his mouth during that live has people shaking their heads yet again. Martell looks right into the camera and asks Ralph, whose ex-wife is worse, mine or yours? The question alone tells you everything you need to know about where Martell's head is at. Instead of taking responsibility for his own actions or even showing a little bit of growth, he turned his failed marriage into a competition. He wanted to make a joke out of something that caused real pain, not only for him, but for his ex-wife and their children. That's not funny. That's not lighthearted talk. It's deflection. It's the classic move of someone who refuses to face accountability and instead tries to make it a game. As soon as he said it, the comments started flying in. People watching the live couldn't believe it. Many of them immediately called him out, saying things like, "Martell, you're the one who messed up," or "Ralph doesn't even have any outside kids." The internet never forgets, and the fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville remember everything. They remember the cheating, the lies, the interviews, the custody battles, and the public meltdown. So when Martell tried to act like he's the victim, the fans weren't having it. You could literally see the moment he realized he wasn't getting the validation he wanted. He started leaning back, moving away from the camera, and pretending he wasn't paying attention anymore. That's the thing about Martell. He loves to talk until people start holding him accountable, and then he retreats. This isn't new behavior. Martell has been doing this for years. Every time he goes live, every time he posts on Instagram, it's like he's trying to rewrite history. He wants people to convince him that he was done wrong, that Melody's the one who caused the problems, and that he's just an innocent man trying to live his life. But anyone who's been following this story knows the truth. The breakdown of his marriage wasn't a mystery. It played out on national television. Martell's decisions, his infidelity, and his refusal to take accountability were the reasons things fell apart. And now, instead of growing from that, he's still stuck in the same cycle of denial and deflection. What makes it even more frustrating for fans is that Melody has moved on. She's not out here talking about him. She's not bringing his name up for attention. And she's definitely not using social media to take jabs. She's focused on her career, her businesses, and her kids. She's been walking the talk, showing grace, discipline, and growth. But Martell seems determined to keep her name attached to his. It's almost like he can't stand the idea of her succeeding without him being part of the conversation. Every time he goes live or does an interview, somehow Melody's name finds its way in. And people are starting to see it for what it really is: obsession. During that live at the club, Martell tried to play it cool, laughing, joking, acting like it was all in good fun. But the more he talked, the more it became clear that this wasn't just banter. It was bitterness masked as humor. He couldn't help but compare his life to Ralph's, trying to find validation in someone else's failed relationship. That alone shows where his mindset is. Instead of reflecting on his own choices and learning from them, he's searching for someone else to share the blame with. Misery loves company, and Martell is out here recruiting co-stars for his pity party. And let's talk about Ralph for a second. He was clearly there enjoying himself, flexing, posing, showing off his muscles in a tight shirt. He wasn't there for drama. He was just hanging out. But because Martell brought up this ridiculous question about whose ex-wife is worse, mine or yours, Ralph got dragged into a moment that instantly became viral. The energy shifted from fun to awkward in seconds. That's what happens when Martell gets too comfortable and starts talking without thinking. He doesn't realize how bad it looks until it's too late. And by then, the damage is already done. The audience reaction said it all. Fans were laughing, but not because it was funny, because it was sad. They saw a man still stuck in denial, still seeking validation, still trying to make a joke out of a situation that hurt so many people. And the comments kept pouring in, reminding Martell of his past mistakes. That's when you could see him get uncomfortable. He started backing away from the camera, looking like he wanted to end the live. It was the same pattern we've seen before. He can dish it out, but he can't take it when people hold up a mirror. When you look at the bigger picture, Martell's behavior isn't just embarrassing, it's damaging. It keeps the tension alive, not just between him and Melody, but also for their children, their families, and the fans who have watched this play out for years. Reality TV might make drama entertaining, but at the end of the day, these are real people with real lives. The fact that Martell keeps bringing up his ex publicly years after their split shows that he's still trying to control the narrative. He wants people to see him as the wronged party, but every time he opens his mouth, he proves the opposite. The truth is, Martell has always struggled with accountability. From the beginning, his actions have shown a pattern of blame shifting. Instead of saying, "I made mistakes and I'm learning," he constantly points fingers. Whether it's at Melody, the media, or even fans who comment on his posts, there's always someone else to blame. But that's not growth. That's avoidance. And after all these years, it's starting to look less like immaturity and more like a deliberate refusal to evolve. What makes it even harder to watch is that Martell has opportunities most people could only dream of. He has a platform, a fan base, and the ability to build something positive. But instead of using his visibility to show maturity, he uses it to stir up old wounds. He could be talking about business, co-parenting, or personal development, but instead we're back to whose ex-wife is worse. It's childish and disappointing.
Meanwhile, Melody is thriving. She's out here running successful businesses, winning awards, and setting an example for women who've gone through similar experiences. She's showing what it looks like to turn pain into purpose. And that contrast is part of why Martell's behavior stands out so much. Every time he goes online and brings up her name, it only highlights how different their paths have become. She's growing. He's repeating. People have also noticed that Martell often tries to provoke reactions. It's like he feeds off attention, even negative attention. He'll make a controversial statement, go live at odd hours, or post something cryptic just to get people talking. And when they do, he pretends to be the victim. It's a cycle that keeps him in the spotlight, but also keeps him stuck. True healing doesn't happen when you keep reopening old wounds for views. The fans are not fooled anymore. They see what's going on. Every time Martell starts one of these lives, the comment sections fill up with people telling him to let it go, to grow up, and to move on. But he doesn't listen. Maybe he can't. Maybe he's so tied to the drama that peace feels uncomfortable. Because let's be honest, for some people, attention, even negative attention, becomes an addiction. And Martell seems to be stuck in that pattern. It's also worth mentioning that his behavior affects how people see him as a father. Being a parent isn't just about posting cute pictures or showing up at events. It's about setting an example. And when your children eventually grow up and see how you constantly talk about their mother online, it doesn't reflect well. Kids notice. They hear. They remember. And that's something Martell should be thinking about. Co-parenting requires respect, even when things are complicated. But when you keep disrespecting the other parent in public, you're not just hurting them. You're hurting your children's image of family. Fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville have seen Melody show restraint time and time again. She rarely responds directly to Martell's antics, but when she does, it's always measured and mature. She focuses on her peace and her purpose. And that's probably what bothers him most. He doesn't get the reaction he wants. He can say whatever he wants online, but she doesn't bite. That silence speaks louder than any argument ever could. Martell's constant need to compare himself and his situation to others also shows insecurity. You can tell he's still trying to prove something, maybe to himself, maybe to the world, maybe to Melody. But at this point, no one's buying it. The audience has moved on, the show's fans have evolved, and yet Martell is still stuck in the same storyline. It's almost ironic. The man who keeps trying to control the narrative has become defined by the very drama he refuses to let go of. When you really think about it, this whole whose ex-wife is worse conversation was just another way for him to avoid accountability. Instead of saying, I could have done better, he's saying, other people have it worse. That's not healing. That's not reflection. That's ego. And ego will always block growth. At the end of the day, people are tired. They're tired of seeing the same story play out over and over again. They're tired of Martell dragging Melody's name just to stay relevant. They're tired of the deflection, the half apologies, and the victim narrative. The fans who once rooted for him have seen enough. They know that until Martell takes real responsibility for his actions, nothing will change. This entire situation is a lesson in accountability. It shows what happens when someone refuses to look in the mirror and take ownership. You can't move forward if you're still obsessed with the past. You can't grow if you keep bringing up the same arguments, the same people, the same pain. Melody has shown what it looks like to evolve. Martell, on the other hand, continues to show what it looks like when you stay stuck in denial. And while it might make for juicy headlines and entertaining lives, the truth is, it's sad to watch. It's watching potential go to waste because pride won't let go. It's watching someone choose ego over peace, clout over clarity, and attention over accountability. Fans who have followed this story from the beginning know that the real winner isn't the one who talks the loudest. It's the one who grows the most. And right now, that's clearly not Martell. Melody's actions, her calmness, and her focus are what truly stand out. She doesn't need to prove anything because her success speaks for itself. So while Martell continues to bring her name in lives, videos, and interviews, one thing remains clear. She's already moved on. She's not looking back. And that's something Martell might need to learn how to do. Because until he does, he'll keep reliving the same storyline while Melody continues writing new